Welcome to Left, Right, and You with Tim Elenz and Paul Edwards. They're talking current events, politics, local, state, and federal. Now here's Tim Elenz and Paul Edwards and Left, Right, and You.
Hey, how are you, Paul?
I'm excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
You good? You were out there harassing the Hitler Youth? Or
I was, and I do want to take care of one little piece of business first, and that is today is my wife Chris's birthday. So
how's that business?
She always listens. So happy birthday!
Happy
Because if I didn't say happy birthday, she'd be like, "Why didn't you wish me happy?" No, I'm doing it because she's wishing her happy birthday.
Because we're
yes,
on all night.
Yes, that's the other
We're
piece of
on
business.
7 to 10.
7 to 10 election coverage.
Can we cover 3 hours of election?
I believe we can. We're going to have some local folks in here who are in
I went
tune.
to vote today, and they said pick 3, and there were only 3 candidates on the ballot. There were 2 spots where it says pick 3, pick only 3, and there were only 3 candidates on there.
So were you confused by that, or?
I don't know. No, I was joking. I walked in there at 9 o'clock this morning, and I said, "Hey, am I the third person today?" And the lady goes, "No, you're number 4." I go, "You're joking." She said, "No, we're not joking."
Wow.
I was number 3. I was the only third person who walked in 3 hours after the polls opened.
Holy cow.
So it's gonna be very interesting. What are you handing me here, Dave? What is this? Save Our Library. What is this?
Oh,
I know Herb Gross. I met Herb
You always
Gross.
accuse me of being a book burner.
What's this?
So
He runs over. He sees a picture of the president, which is very disrespectful, with a Hitler mustache.
Yes.
I think that's absolutely just appalling, but that's part of living in America, I guess. And he goes over there to ask him. I said to George, "You're probably going to get arrested."
No.
What'd you say to him?
No. Well, I went over there, and first off, I found out they are LaRouchians.
They are?
Yes, that's because it says so.
Is he out
like,
of jail? Is he out of jail yet?
I don't know. I only vaguely remember even who LaRouche was, but basically what it is whoever's in charge, they hate them. Everything revolves around the banks are evil and blah blah blah, and it goes on.
The Reverend Moon, right?
But my point to this man and whoever else would draw a Hitler mustache on Obama or even
President
Obama. Yeah, who drew pictures, Hitler mustaches on Bush when he was the president.
Oh, I didn't see those.
Yeah, there were those too. Yeah. But my point is, no one is going to listen to your message when they see that. I mean, I don't disagree that I think, Barack Obama is a bad president or he should be gone. But who's really going to listen to you when you start out basically being a quack? And that's what they're being.
I don't even pay attention to them.
Yeah.
I don't even give them the time of day.
Yeah. Well,
I just kind of spotted it out the window and said, "Oh, wow," because we were at the coffee shop.
Yeah, I think that's wrong, and everyone knows I'm no fan of President Obama, but that's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, they might have a very compelling argument, but who's really going to listen to them when you start out from there? So,
well, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's get on to something interesting.
Well, for the last,
we're giving them press time. Let's not give them press time.
For the last 5 or 6 weeks, we have been heavily
Elginites
covering Elgin, the elections, which are today, April 5th.
Go out and vote. Everybody, go vote.
Yeah,
go vote.
Tim, you held a wonderful forum between Dave Captain and the incumbent Ed Schock.
Good guys, really good guys.
And we've had, I think. Have we had every city council candidate on?
Dave, have we?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe we've had everybody on, so we've been...
that guy took our shrimp. Did you know that? That Tom the driver guy?
Oh.
He took the shrimp because we weren't looking for and he took it to another forum that night.
Oh, okay.
So, Tom, if you're listening, bring our shrimp back.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
no, it's just...
I was looking for that shrimp, too.
Yeah. So today we're going to have two different call-ins. I got an email that was forwarded to me, and it was written by... Todd Hartwell, the president of the Elgin Tea Party, who took the position that this is your opportunity to vote out Ed Schock and his voting bloc, which included in particular John Steffens and what's the other? Mike Warren.
Mike Warren. He's been on. Mike's a nice guy.
Yeah. So they want, and we had Steffens on as well.
How do you become president of the Tea Party in Elgin? Can we ask him that?
You start it?
Can I ask him? No, I was curious. I mean, I had a fan club once, but it broke up after the guy died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. No, but how do you become? No, seriously, how do you become the president? Let's ask him that
I think you're the one who starts it, advertising and gets it going.
Are we taking calls today? 847-931-1410.
Yeah. So we're going to have Todd come on from 3:10 to 3:20, 3:25, and basically give the opportunity to tell people why he takes his position they got to go. But for fair time, we're also going to go ahead and have Pat Hudgens, who's an Elgin Township trustee, I believe, who's going to come
Township
on.
Trustee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who believes that Mayor Schock, Steffens, and Mike Warren should all be retained. So we're going to give anyone who hasn't voted and
Well,
you
Mike
haven't
Warren
made
is
up your
new.
mind, you'll
Mike-
get
yeah.
both sides of the argument again today.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
go
Mike is new. Mike Warren is a new council.
Oh, he's new.
4 years. I think he's in his first term.
Okay.
And Mayor Schock is in his going to be in his third term, I believe. And I think this might be your caller. I don't know. Either that or it's Jeff. One of
Oh, it
the
is
guys.
310. Who's on the line, Dave?
It's Jeff.
Put
told
Jeff.
you it was
Put
Jeff.
Jeff through.
Hold on 1 second.
All right, Jeff. We gonna talk about jobs this week? Hello, Jeff. No, we lost him.
No, he's on.
Jeff.
Hello, kids. How are you?
Hello there. How are you, Sonny?
We're good. How you doing, buddy?
I was talking to myself there for a second. I got that.
It's good company.
Delayed.
You weren't arguing, were you?
Don't be
Well,
going
I argue-
to yourself. That's not
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I argue with myself all the time.
All right.
You know.
Did you just nod and agree with yourself too, Jeff?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So what's up?
Well, I was listening to Obama, and the rhetoric of all the congressmen and senators about this budget crisis, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. I haven't got a clue. It sounds like they don't give a rat's behind about any of us. As far as the federal level, I just get it. I think it's a big fat joke. And you guys probably can get a chance to see it. I was down here in my place, my workshop, working on some stuff, and I'm watching all this rhetoric. And it, no wonder everybody believes everything everybody says on the TV, because they make it sound like it's, if you're a Obama supporter, that you're, that all the Republicans are evil, and the same thing with the Republican side. I just don't get it. They don't have anything in common with the average Joe. And I think that's the biggest problem we have in this country. I mean, we have these elections going on, and I really seriously thought to myself, do I want to go through this crap? Do I want to
Hey, Jeff.
I
Jeff, I got to interrupt you. I think our guest is calling in. Can you call us back or leave a number for us to call you back at later?
Well, if you want me to call
Yeah,
back.
call
later,
back.
I
Of
can.
course we do. But
Yeah, and comment on what Todd has to say.
okay, listen to Todd now.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hi, Todd. Hello.
Yes.
Is this Todd?
Todd.
Ask him for proof first.
Yeah, show us your IDs.
I got blood type.
Okay.
So,
Todd, can I ask him a question?
Yeah, go right
Todd,
ahead.
this is Tim Elenz.
Hey, Tim, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Todd? I don't mean to be sarcastic. And I really, this is a sincere question. How do you become president of the Tea Party in Elgin? No, I mean it's a sincere question. I don't know that there is an organization.
Sure enough. How I got involved was I put onto the website that I wanted to get more involved. A regional coordinator contacted me. We sat down, we chatted, he vetted me out. Said, you know what? We currently did not have a coordinator for the Elgin area. He said, how would you like to do it? And I said, yeah, I'm way more than interested in getting going here. So he and I came over with a game plan, started growing the group from there. And that's exactly how I became I'm called coordinator. President is a little,
So you're it's basically an appointed right now until there's some organization. Until there's
yeah,
an
I
election.
mean, the statement that we're well funded and well organized is not only an unknown lie, but it's laughable. We're
Okay.
not well funded. It comes out of my back pocket or
Okay.
any way I could raise funds, and we're just a bunch of people out running our own businesses and going to work and trying to pay our bills, and unfortunately paying way too much in tax.
Yeah, I always hear the attacks from the left about the Tea Party, and they just never jive in I don't know enough to speak intelligently, but it seems like a grassroots kind of organization of people that are just tired, and people try to tie Sarah Palin and that Michelle Bachmann and is leaders, but I don't think they've ever come out and said that they were officials or directors.
No, not really. I mean, if you go to some of the larger groups, Tea Party Patriots, you'll find some leadership there, and we get on conference calls with them, and they try to help support us with information. I mean, mostly that's what we do. We're here to inform, educate, and motivate people to get involved and get active in doing something, and most times something is voting, sometimes like today, sometimes it's calling your congressman or faxing or emailing them and showing up when we all show up to say, hey, you know what, common sense needs to prevail. Common sense is dictated as stop spending money you ain't got.
Let me ask you one more question, and I'll shut up and let Paul jump in here. One more quick question. I know you're not registered as a political party in Illinois. Are there any states where the Tea Party is registered as a?
There might be something down in the South, and I know up in Michigan there is one, but it's fake.
Okay.
It's a bunch of very ultra-leftists who have glommed on, and there's some sort of legal wranglings over that going to put the end to that. That's the only two that I've ever heard anything about.
Okay. That's... Those are my questions, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, my question, Todd, was really I got this email yesterday that Rick Newton, who is, I don't know if he's the president or coordinator of the Tri-Count Tees, forwarded. He forwarded
like a counterpart to me. Sure.
Yeah, he forwarded it to me, and it basically was you stating, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, hey, we need to get a vote against Mayor Schock and his voting group, and the two people you singled out were John Steffens and Mike Warren, as people that you didn't believe should be in there. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to step up. And in fairness, so you know, the second half of our show, we're going to have someone on who is going to be supportive of them. So here's your opportunity before the polls close to tell people why you believe they need to go.
Well, here's a real simple fact. Look at Elgin. Our township financial numbers of who's in the city is somewhere around $61,000 a year. The cities around us are at $69,000, $75,000, $85,000 for people who live in town. Any retailer who's looking to come into town looks at those numbers, and when they see that our numbers are so low and that they see the welfare programs are so high, they go, why do I want to be a part of that? So just as a businessman's point of view, who wants to come to Elgin? When you talk about school districts, and we're talking about spending and budgets and all that, the two big jokes in the state are the Chicago School District and U46. Well, who's involved in that? Well, that's directly responsible to the people who are on the council and the people who are running the town. It's time for different people who actually, care about what's actually going on instead of just wanting to run around and talk about what they want to do. They want to spend money.
Well,
go ahead.
I mean, that last point that you made, the U46 is not just Elgin. It's Streamwood, it's Bartlett. There's a lot of other cities and
parts of Streamwood, and it's parts of Bartlett.
So,
and again, that whole fiasco. If you look at, let's talk about Bartlett compared to Elgin. You've got kids going to school that are 2 blocks away from Bartlett High School, coming to the South Elgin High School, and then vice versa. I mean,
yeah, but how does Mayor Schock or the city council have anything to do with the school district? And I'm asking out of ignorance. I'm not asking.
Sure enough. They're involved just like the mayor of Chicago is involved in who gets to put in charge. I mean, every part of government touches every other part of government, and so they're supposed to be there watching what's going on. And unfortunately, maybe that's all they're doing is watching. They're not actually acting. So
I think the state, we might as well mention Senator Nolan as long as, we missed him this week. I think like the state legislators are more responsible for the school districts, which are going to be redone next month, if I'm not mistaken, than the mayor. I understand that the mayor has a lot to say, but I don't think the city council, the local city council, has anything to do with the school districts.
They do in the form of leadership. If they see there's something wrong and it's a joke, U46 is wrong, then something needs to be done. And it's leadership comes from the top down. And if you're not doing something, then you're promoting the wrong thing that's going on by being ignorant of your actions.
So if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Todd, you sort of told us, who not to vote for. Obviously, on the top of that ticket for mayor is Dave Captain. We held a forum here, and both Dave Captain and Mayor Schock were very cordial to one another and very professional. What qualities do you see in Dave Captain that you think that he actually will be effective?
Well, Dave Captain's a guy who does have some good ideas. We won't say that we agree with anybody 100% of the time, all the time. So we certainly have our sticking points where we don't necessarily agree or see eye to eye. The difference between, I believe, Dave and Ed Schock is Dave actually will sit down and listen, and if he shakes his head and he's nodding that he's listening, he's actually listening. So it's more, even in our disagreements, it's a personality. We don't get this, yeah, I'm listening, but, you know, as soon as I walk out of the room, we're done. I'm not even going to remember this conversation or take any kind of good counsel from it. And so there's a difference between Ed Schock and Dave in those respects. Dave also realizes that, you know, the glass is not even half full, it's not even three-quarters full, it's not even a quarter full, it's empty, and that we need to be more fiscally responsible from the tax dollars that we're supposed to try to get from the state. And, you know, some of the things they do, you know, are just disastrous. I mean, they try to buy houses and flip them a time or two ago, and they couldn't even do that.
Who tried to buy houses?
The state, Elgin, in their actions, were buying up, you know, broken down houses and trying to flip them, and they were disastrous at it. I mean, they couldn't even finish a project flipping a house in 9 months. You know, which I can do that in 90. Exactly. We're not supposed to be doing those things, and that's what these guys get themselves into. They start doing where they shouldn't be doing things. Don't do things you're not good at.
Todd, in your opinion, then, what is the number one thing that whoever is elected mayor, whether it be Dave Captain or Mayor Schock once again, what do you think they need to do to get Elgin in the direction that you believe it needs to go?
There's several different steps they can take. One step is always having the mindset, how can we make ourselves more business attractive? How do you get to that point? A couple of things are just perception, and that perception only takes place after you've taken concrete action.
Can you give me a concrete action, though? That's what I'm looking for. Give me a concrete action, Todd.
Here's a concrete action. In the way that we allow businesses to come in, we don't, when we set up our laws may be not the wrong word, but when we set up our laws, we don't actually make these companies hold tight to those laws. Or there's not a fair system on how bids are taken out. We had a construction company in there, and they had a lot of people who were not documented. Now, companies know that if you're not watching the ship on that, and it's a good old boys program, that they're not going to have a chance to stand and do business, so why are they going to move their business to Elgin? So that's a difference of, let's be honest, and that's a concrete thing to do, and what is perceived. If it's assumed that you can't get a fair shake in Elgin, why move to Elgin? And those are two. So that's a perception issue, and it's also a concrete issue. We don't do things that are going to bring business to the Elgin area.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I back to what I say. I think every time this issue comes up, what does the mayor do? The mayor and the city council are more of ambassadors, or they're part-time workers. Pardon me? That always seems
to be the claim. Yet their fingerprints are all over everything. Also,
well, I mean, you got a village manager that's got probably makes 6 figures a year. You've got 800 employees in Elgin. The mayor, I think, makes $1,000 a month. That's, you know,
I think it's a little
not
higher
enough to live on. That's for sure.
And then the city councilman makes $700 to $800.
Okay,
exactly.
So
it's supposed to be this part-time job, but yet they do move a lot of power. Otherwise, why would they be fighting so hard for these jobs?
Well, they all do. I mean,
right.
I go into I live in Streamwood, and I go in there to vote today, and it says pick 3, and there's only 3 people on the ballot, and I understand the mayor of Streamwood gets $700 a month.
Yeah,
is what she gets.
Again,
so I mean, it's so usually a stepping stone somewhere else.
I'm a big fan of getting rid of city managers and making the mayor the big guy. Or, hey, let's get rid of the mayor then. I mean, if he's only an ambassador, I don't think Elgin needs to be spending $24,000 on an ambassador.
All right,
yeah. I understand. One or the other.
Well, why is Mike Warren? Now, Mike Warren's been in there for 2 years. I don't think you can really do anything in 2 years. I mean, you kind of figure out what the landscape is. Why would you say him and John Steffens? I don't get
because they vote lock, stock, and barrel every time, all the time with mayor.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, again, let's compare us to the city of Chicago. Why did Mayor Daley like the 15 guys he had? Because he knew he could count on 15 votes, no matter what he said.
The mayor is it's apples and oranges. Aldermen make $110,000 a year. They have a full staff. They are
Exactly.
they're supposed to be full-time aldermen, but they're not. Most of them are attorneys or
Right,
other kinds of
exactly.
things. So no, but I mean, again, I think it's more of an advisor. I've served on a lot of different boards, and I'm more of an advisor. I mean, I've worked
Well,
a penny a year.
If you're an advisor, sometimes you'll disagree with the man that you're advising. Won't you agree? Well, if you look at the voting records, that's not the case.
Well, I know that I used to always say at the hospital board, and I was an officer at a hospital, and I used to say if we don't like our CEO or we don't like a chairman of the board, get rid of them. So pretty much it works more of an advisory thing.
Right.
I the only argument I see with it, and I was talking to somebody about this today with Elgin. I don't mean to be overbearing here, Paul.
No. You're perfectly fine.
It seems to me that, and again, and I don't know this to be true, but this is just my observation, but when they got the riverboats 16, 17 years ago, that seemed to be like, oh, that was like the gift that was given that was going to take Elgin to the next level. And I don't know if anybody else is talking about it, but I don't gamble, but I have frequented the riverboat. Well, I'm not like other people in the room, I should say. Paul's sitting here laughing. But you know what? When Des Plaines opens, I mean, this riverboat here is going to die. When that Des Plaines casino opens, it's over with out here.
It could.
I mean, Barbie, go ahead.
No, I totally agree. Everybody, when you rely on somebody losing something in order to make yourself great, eventually
that's a different.
It's gonna dry up. But it's gonna dry up. It can't always happen.
Yeah.
And so.
The trick is, how do you make it? And you were saying, Paul, St. Charles, or how do you bring it into Batavia?
How do you take Elgin and make it, Batavia, St. Charles, Geneva? But we're getting close to break here, Todd. And I wanted to ask you one final question, if I could. And that is, first off, I don't know if you've ever listened to our show, but I'm a pretty conservative, right-wing sort of guy. And I'm listening to you, and to be quite frank with you, I'm hearing you say, hey, things haven't gotten better in Elgin, so we need to try something new. And really, it's almost as if all I'm hearing is this is an anti-incumbent sort of move that you're saying, that they've had enough time, they haven't got us better, we might as well try something different. I'm not, that's the only thing that's coming through to me. I don't know if I'm hearing it wrong.
Okay, and that's fine. That's true to a point. Dave Captain is, to his defense, has voted against the board, has voted against the mayor, and in some instances he's a little bit too similar to the current mayor.
Okay.
But when you've done a job and you've done it poorly, why are you going to get to keep that job? At some point you got to say, you know what? Your pitching style is just not good enough. It's time for you to go back down to the little leagues, or we need to bring somebody else different.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I'm self-employed, because I would have got fired a long time ago.
Well, you're only worth as much as the guy who puts on your socks.
Hey,
right?
Todd.
So,
hey, Todd.
This is Dave talking to you now.
We had a caller off here wanted me to ask you, what city councilman do you support? Does the Elgin Tea Party support?
Oh, do you have a slate? Yeah.
No, not particularly. There's quite a few guys. Shane Nowak comes to mind. He's a pretty good guy. He's young. He's inexperienced. But, again, this is a part-time deal. And he'll make good choices in those areas. Robbins is a good guy, and I'm forgetting who the other fellow was that I voted for. But these are the scenarios where.
How about the women? How about Anna Moeller or Tish Powell?
I didn't get any. And this is just a personal thing. So we didn't really vet those folks out when we chatted with them. I didn't find anything that came across and said, "Wow, that's an absolute." Give these guys a nod.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we do have George is on the line.
George is on the line.
George wants to talk with Todd. Or George, you're on Left Right You.
Todd, I don't disagree with your passion, but I think some of the things you said are egregious in terms of just accuracy. And I'll just throw some statistics out at you. Under Mayor Schock's term in office, he's been in office 12 years now. The city has created 10,400 new jobs. I mean, that's net jobs that the city has added since Mayor Schock has taken office. You now have 32 or 33, it may be a little bit more than that, foreign-based companies that now call Elgin home. This I know absolutely. Since Mayor Schock has come into office, you have an additional 14 million square feet of new office space, industrial space, retail space, not to mention, 12 years of balanced municipal budgets. The city of Elgin, even in a really tough economic time, has a AAA bond rating. There has been no increase in property taxes for 19 years. Now, there are things that I suppose you could argue with Mayor Schock about, but when you start talking about economic development and job creation, I think that's really about most of what I've heard you say. His record is unparalleled. It really is absolutely unparalleled, and you can't really question the success that he's had in terms of economic development and job creation.
George, thank you for your call, and we'll let Todd respond.
Bye-bye.
Well, now we get to the two-edged sword. Either the mayor has an effect on jobs and growing businesses, or he doesn't. So was Mayor Schock completely responsible for all that great stuff? Let's see, 12 years. We had two boom economies during those 12 years. Yes, naturally you're going to have growth. Now we're going into a down cycle, and come on, guys, look around.
Yeah,
Elgin
but Todd,
really
you get the credit if you're at the seat. I mean, if things are good, you get the credit. If things are bad, you get the credit. I mean, right?
I don't dismiss that. Absolutely.
Okay.
But when you take 12 years, well, let's just take a look at the last 5 years. Other cities have done fine and grown. We have slipped and slowed down.
No cities have done good in the last 3 years or 5 years.
I said five.
2006, when the crash happened, the real estate crash happened in 2006, 5 years ago. I mean, every cities are broke. I mean, absolutely.
If you look to the cities to the south, going Aurora, Batavia, Geneva, and even St. Charles, there has been growth where we have gone stagnant and under. And they're doing something differently, and that different is some of the things I talked about. But a lot of times it's perception. Look at our income of the people who live here, and that's directly responsible to some of the things that we do in the city of Elgin. And we can do things differently in order to attract higher income people to live within the area. And I'm not a person who makes 6 figures or 12 figures, where I can say, I don't want poor people. I'm right there with the rest of you guys, hustling and trying to make a living, working a job, and running a business. So we can do those things, but we can't. 12 years is a long time, and we're all saying, hey, that's not the place to go and do business. Why is that? Well, then maybe you need new leadership.
Todd, we want to thank you very much for taking the time to call and give a point of view on there. I think all of our listeners appreciated you calling in, and we will look forward to speaking to you in the future. So thank you very much, Todd.
Thank you, and thank you to all your callers. Thanks.